The World Health Organization has officially declared the coronavirus a global health emergency, and the virus has now spread to over 20 countries with 11 confirmed cases in the U.S., and in China, the official death toll has risen to over 300 deaths, with over 17,000 citizens infected. With Italy, Russia, and the UK the most recent additions to the growing list of countries with confirmed cases worldwide, and the first virus-related death outside of China reported in the Philippines, many are looking to China for answers about the reality of the spread and the severity of the virus which originated in Wuhan. The World Health Organization Director General has declared that China needs to be shown gratitude and respect and applauded for the extraordinary steps it has taken to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus.
Where I met with President Xi Jinping, I left in absolutely no doubt about China's commitment to transparency and to protecting the world's people. As I said it earlier, we should have actually expressed our respect and gratitude to China for what it's doing. It has already done incredible things to limit the transmission of the virus to other countries. And where respect is due, then you don't punish.
And world leaders such as President Trump have also praised China for their transparency amid this unprecedented outbreak. But many have been questioning if the country, which has been known to downplay disease outbreaks in the past, is telling the truth and if their official numbers can be trusted. Let's take a look back at China's handling of the SARS outbreak back in 2003. It took China 5 months to announce the SARS outbreak to the public, resulting in over 700 deaths, with the epidemic spreading to over 20 different countries. The country's reluctance to give out information and continuous downplaying of the situation helped the illness quickly spread and created a global distrust of China from the rest of the world. While China is now being praised for their response to the coronavirus, they are still actively suppressing information from the world by censoring and arresting citizens who speak out about the virus. They have already been caught spreading propaganda within the media, and the high growth of cases from day to day has led many to question their official numbers. U.S. Senator Tom Cotton has been one of the most outspoken voices that has accused China of downplaying the amount of deaths related to the coronavirus. He also took to Twitter to share that there was a 28% increase in coronavirus cases overnight in China. Make no mistake, though, these aren't new cases, just what China is willing to admit. And China has already been caught pushing propaganda using a stock photo as evidence for one of the hospitals it is building for patients. The photo was shared on Twitter from the verified accounts of Global Times and People's Daily, both of which are Chinese state-run media outlets. It was also tweeted out by the Deputy Director General of the Information Department in the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. However, people were quick to point out that the image provided by the Global Times was a stock photo that was available on the internet months prior to their tweet. The image and all tweets have since been deleted. While politicians and people outside of China are allowed to freely dispute China's official numbers and news stories, the situation is very different for those living within the country. And new evidence is now emerging that officials in Wuhan deliberately downplayed the virus, even after formally notifying the World Health Organization on December 31st. Doctors and physicians from Wuhan have admitted that the government took a refrigerating strategy in the early days of the viral spread, banning medical personnel from speaking publicly or accepting media interviews in regards to the outbreak. An alleged Wuhan physician also wrote to the National Health Commission claiming that doctors in the city were told not to report viral pneumonia in their imaging reports between January 12th through 16th, a crucial period in which the virus began to spread, a tactic similar to the one they used to downplay the SARS outbreak back in 2003. This barring of information meant local healthcare workers were unable to properly raise the alarm on the severity of the situation. But it's not only the doctors who are being told not to speak. Chinese citizens are also being censored online and cannot even openly speak about the virus without using code words. The New York Times were the first to report that in an attempt to bypass censors on the internet, Chinese citizens began using the word Chernobyl to describe the coronavirus and labeled Xi Jinping as Trump. Unfortunately, the Chinese government deciphered the code, and as reporter Josh Yi from the South China Morning Post points out, the hashtag Chernobyl was removed from discussion boards, stopping people from further discussing the outbreak in Wuhan and the government's handling of the crisis. Examples of other censorship include posts by families of infected people looking for help and folks in quarantine cities documenting their day-to-day lives. But deleting an online discussion is only the beginning of how China has been silencing its citizens. In early January, the country had arrested 8 people in the city of Wuhan for allegedly publishing or forwarding false information on the internet without verification. At least one of those arrested was a doctor who had reported the existence of the new virus. He later became infected and is now in critical condition. On January 25th, WeChat, a popular Chinese social media app, alerted its users that anyone who spreads information about the virus that the government deems a rumor, or anyone who attempts to disrupt social order by posting information that doesn't come from state-run media, would face between 3 to 7 years in jail. The latest arrest was of a man who covertly filmed the true scale of the coronavirus outbreak from inside a medical facility in Wuhan. The footage shows what seems to be body bags piled on top of each other inside a van. The man seems to imply there are 8 in total as he walks into the hospital ward. There are so many dead people here, the man says. To counteract criticism, state media have been publishing gushing reports on Beijing's response. Reports are also stating that government health workers in China are actively refusing to test likely cases of the coronavirus. The Epoch Times cited interviews with an unnamed insider and an independent journalist within Wuhan, both of whom said that Chinese doctors are not testing people who request it and that the Chinese authorities are limiting the supply of diagnostic testing kits. The insider shared that by controlling the number of available diagnosis kits, China's Center for Disease Control, or the CDC, is able to put an upper limit on the confirmed cases every day to maintain the appearance that the outbreak is under control, thus suppressing the official number of known cases of the disease. The true scale of the situation is not yet known, and researchers at the University of Hong Kong have estimated that there could be up to 44,000 victims already. China has also allegedly been cremating coronavirus victims in secret. A verified Chinese media outlet covering the deadly coronavirus in the country has raised suspicion about the actual death toll of the illness after local doctors said they have been secretly cremating victims of the disease. And China is now saying that all victims of the virus should be quickly cremated, and the government has banned funerals in what they are saying is an attempt to keep the virus from continuing to spread. The World Health Organization has also admitted to working with Google to ensure that their information regarding the virus is the top search on the internet. But let's remember, this is the same organization that is telling us to grant the Chinese government respect and defending a country that has been silencing and arresting citizens and downplaying this virus to the rest of the world. Many are speculating that the reason China has been so secretive is because the coronavirus is really a man-made bioweapon that was created in a lab. For a more in-depth discussion regarding this topic, go to Band's video where you can find the latest reports by Alex Jones and Mike Adams tackling this important subject. As cases continue to grow by the thousands and experts warn of a global pandemic, the world will be watching China as this deadly virus continues to spread. This has been Savanah Hernandez for Action 7 News.
I want to talk about Super Silver Whitening Toothpaste because I hadn't tried it except for maybe the last week and a half. And I told Alex, I said, man, this is the best toothpaste I've ever tried. He's like, well, what are you doing just sitting in here telling me? You got to get up there and tell people. And so here I am telling people, Super Silver Whitening Toothpaste is by far the best toothpaste I've ever tried. And I'm 45 years old. And I've tried a lot of different toothpaste. And it's fluoride free. I think the big difference, the game changer in this is the coral calcium, because after I brush my teeth with this, they feel so clean, and the toothpaste, I don't even like rinse out my mouth after I brush my teeth with this. It feels so good. It feels like good things are happening in my mouth. In fact, I find myself brushing my teeth 3 to 4 times a day rather than just twice a day now, because I like the way it feels.